Often I'm asked how I got started in this business. And when I'm asked that question, I tell the story, and you can't believe it because it is a true story. Then I'm a pathological liar, but not really. When I was a kid growing up in Queens, New York, we used to go to Manhattan on the weekends for shopping and such. I always thought of Manhattan as a city that somebody had built around a hat store. One particular hat store at the corner of 32nd and Broadway, JJ's, still there. I used to stand out in front of that store and stare through the glass for hours on end, dreaming about the Borsalinos and the Stetsons and the Christie fedoras while I was waiting on my folks to finish shoplifting at Macy's. Well, one Sunday out there at the corner of 32nd and Broadway in front of JJ's, I had myself a mystical experience. It really was a start of things for me, and I would like to share it with you. Fella came across the street carrying 2 cardboard boxes. He set them up as a table. The fellow was wearing a battered old fedora and a tie that looked like somebody at the carnival couldn't guess his weight, you know? He was like a genie. He caught my eye, and he caught my ear with his pearly ballyhoo that went, "Looky, looky, looky, I got it here and I'm going to show it to you now. The most amazing and amusing, educational and confusing feat of Hindus, Scapapathamy." That sort of thing. He said he was going to show us cards that could walk and talk and jump through a hoop. He gathered a crowd. And when he had that crowd gathered, he played for them the Monte, the 3-card Monte, the sidewalk shuffle, chase the ace, find the lady. Now, admittedly, the cards he used were not this big, but I was younger then, and I want you to remember this as I do. There are many ways in which the Monte can be played. The Asians have one version, the English have another. When I first saw it played, it was in the classic New World style. The fellow used a queen, a king, and an ace, a lady, a gent, and a spot. He showed these cards to his crowd, then he shuffled them in this fashion. If the hands were proportional, this would be flashier. Once he had shuffled those cards, he placed one down on the table and he asked his crowd to guess, nay, to bet hard cash as to which card he had tossed. Take a guess in your mind, take a guess. Were you right? If you were, then you are ahead of the game, for as I say, the money goes to the tosser and the Monte it always has. I spent a lot of time over the years since the first time I'd seen this game played. I wondered why in the world the Marks would travel from miles around to come play a game they haven't beaten in 5,000 years. All I can conclude is that it's just too simple. Lady, a gent, and a spot, 1, 2, 3, and a toss. Besides, it is not the cards that you are up against. It's the fellow who shuffles those pasteboards. He's the one you've got to keep your eye on, because it is from him that you will either learn or lose, depending on how you see the situation out there under the noon sun, with a storefront behind and a cardboard table in front, with a don't walk sign to the left and a payphone to the right. That fellow was a teacher to me. I watched him play game after game. I watched him gather crowd after crowd. I watched him take 5s and 10s and 20s and 50s and hallelujah C notes from those crowds, and I never once saw anyone get pissed. I saw many a man with empty wallet and open hand go up and thank him for the dandy time. He gathered together strangers. He played for them a game of hanky-poo. He took their money and they went off happy. That for me was a religious experience. I saw my life's work cut out for me like a well-tailored suit. You know, I don't know much about this world, but most of what I do know I learned from the fellow who tossed the lady, the gent, in the spot. He taught me that if you can't laugh at yourself, you've never seen what you look like sleeping. He taught me that when you are betting on a sure thing, when it is money from home, when you are certain that you cannot lose because you have your ace planted firmly in the hole, that, friends, is the time you want to save cab fare. Because the idea is to keep an open mind, but not so open that your brains fall out. He taught me, that fellow in the battered fedora, he taught me that respect is something you give to get. And that trust is something that you have in yourself. But mainly, I guess I learned, is that you never eat at a place called Mom's You never play cards with a guy called Pops. And most importantly is that a fool and his money were lucky to get together in the first place. Absolutely, sir.
Jeff, you're going to get all this applause from this great audience right there, right? All the love right there. Very nice. His debut performance here at the Wonderground. Very nice. Yes? So, how many people have been here more than 10 times?